to respond. The more traditional Gibson company, maker of all those finely crafted archtop and jazz guitars, was stung into action. The guitar wars had begun. Gibson were now ready to reconsider the solid body experiments that Les Paul started back in the early 40s. And this is the infamous log. So what did they make of the log in 1941?
They looked at it and laughed like hell. They thought it was awful. Gibson thought it was awful. Everybody thought it was terrible.
Now, there's one more thing to add to that.
Les had another trick up his sleeve.
Les, being sort of a unique individual, having a good sense of humor, he made these so that you can sort of imagine it as an actual guitar.
They said, you were the joke of Gibson for 10 years.
So they thought you were nuts, really?
Yeah, they thought I was a little strange.
Well, strange or not, Gibson realised they were missing out on a potentially huge market. They needed to catch up with Fender and make a solid body guitar of their own. It would be called the Les Paul.
So it all starts with the wood, right? Every great guitar has to be made from great wood. The secret of a Les Paul, which is our flagship model, is a combination of mahogany and maple woods. And these are pieces of mahogany that will be married with a maple cap and then cut into the shape of a guitar. But these are the two basic elements of a Les Paul guitar that create the sustain and the power that you associate with a Gibson Les Paul.
These are very, very sought after collectibles, with this particular one being $130,000. So people like these.
Do you play, do you actually play all these, or?
Well, I play them and I cherish them. This is at the top of the heap right here, there's no question about it. Look at the flame on that one.
Yes.
I mean, it's quite unbelievable. This one is just, it's perfect, 1959.
Here is a Gibson Les Paul from 1958, same kind of thing. The 58s and 59s seem to be the ones that everybody's after.
You can, listen.
How much is
just
this?
listen for a minute. The sustain, listen to it.
I'm not hearing anything.
You would, though, if it were playing, because it really, it's famous for its sustain. I mean, you can just hold it.
Well, I mean, so,
and you can go and have a bite, and you still be hearing that one.
Yeah.
And I actually had to wait a long time to find the right Les Paul. I didn't realise just how great these late 50s Gibsons actually were until I played them.
There has been some dispute as to just how involved Les was in all this.
He did not convince Gibson to make a solid body guitar. Gibson already knew they darn well had to do that. And for that matter, Les did not design the guitar from the ground up, nor did he invent the electric guitar or the solid body guitar. That had been done before.
But there's no doubting his advertising value at the time. Between 1950 and 1954, he and Mary had 16 top 10 hits.
It's a scarecrow for the garden. I still have to stuff the sleeves. Would you like to do a song?
Oh, all right.
Remember, between 1953 and 1960, Mary and I were on 5 times a day, 5 times a week, on radio and television. The electric guitar was being exposed greatly.
My days are you. Won't you please come back and dry my tears?
No matter what you play on the guitar, electric, acoustic, no matter what you do to the guitar, the person on the other end doesn't say it's an electric guitar, it's acoustical guitar. She says, I love that fellow playing that guitar.
So there's something about the instrument and the person together.
That's right.
And the sound that's made. It's not just the instrument, it's the person who plays
it's the
that
marriage. guitar, I find that if I hit the note here is different than hitting it here. Striking the note differently. Mothering the note, when you play the note, you add vibrato to it, trill to it, or get off of it if it's not a good one, or what you wish to hear there, okay? So all this has to do with your relationship with the instrument. Piano is way down the line, okay, and the electric guitar is far superior to any instrument ever.
And is that because, as you say, the person who plays the guitar can somehow own the sound?
He can own it. Yeah, he can create it, he can go looking for it, and they all are. And they all are looking for their sound.
The irony is that Les's sound was out of date not long after his guitar was in production. By 1955, rock and roll had come to town.
Oh, Maybelline, why can't you be true? Oh, Maybelline, why can't you be true? You done started back doing the thing you used to do.
And then there was this, the West Coast surf sound. And in Dick Dale's hands was a brand new weapon. As the solid body guitar war hotted up, Fender brought out their masterpiece, the Stratocaster.
And it was made in very simple principle, two pieces of wood bolted together. And Fender suffered a lot of derision at the time because they thought that's a very crude way of doing it, especially from people like Gibson. But of course, Leo Fender's original idea was when you wear the frets out, you just put a new neck on. It was tailor-made for mass production. The electrics could be made on the scratch plate, dropped onto the front of the guitar, the two bits of wood would be bolted together, so unskilled labour could put these guitars together. They're revered now, these early Fenders, but they were made by unskilled Mexican labour. They were thrown together, quite frankly, to get them out the door so the company could survive financially. Leo Fender's first guitar was a Telecaster, and Leo was an engineer. So everything was straight lines, hard edges, and you can look at that guitar and you think, yes, he designed that because he wasn't a guitarist. But when this one was developed, he had input from other musicians, and also a guy who worked for him called Freddie Tavares, Hawaiian guy, who actually was a steel guitarist. He did the theme at the beginning of the Warner Brothers cartoons, that and that slide on the Hawaiian guitar was Freddie Tavares. But he had an eye for radiating curves. Everything on here has got radiating curves. And it's also contour on the back and on the front here for comfort. So actually when you wear it, it tends to disappear. When you play a Telecaster, you feel like you're playing a plank, which has its own appeal, or a workhorse appeal. But this is much more sexy.
When I first saw a Stratocaster properly, I realised that in fact it's a thing of sculpted beauty. If you look at the cross-section of the thing, it's just, you know, it's just, I mean, that could be something flying through space to me.
It curves in and it's chamfered on the top so that there are no hard edges to dig into the body, because he realised how sensitive guitar players are. We need these little things.